Well, hey everybody, how you doing? Happy Saturday. I always love Saturdays. Nice time to kind of get some mining done for sure. So without further ado, we're going to do a little mining today. And we are going to be headed for Lyria to begin with. We'll take a look at our prospector and see how things are doing. I got the rush drive on. And, you know, kind of how I like to do it, just a couple of brands in the FLTR XL. That's the loadout that I like. And I will go ahead and pull the prospector and we will get started. So, lovely Saturday today. It's a little cloudy, overcast out, kind of in the 20s. Not terribly warm, so a good day to drink a little coffee and do a little mining and distract ourselves from the world's madness. So, big news. 3.17s in Evocati. Some Evocati news is kind of coming out of there. It looks like mining gadgets are a thing. And so that's big for us. And so that's an important thing. Chris, how are you doing today? I'm so happy you're able to make it. I want you to know you've been on my mind. I hope that you're well, sir. So I'm really excited to have you on the stream today. That's awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, 317 is coming. It's mining gadgets are a thing. Of course, the river's a thing. The coffee shop's a thing. The Hull A's a thing. And the Hull A's an interesting ship. They really did a nice job with that ship. And obviously that's the one thing Star Citizen has been doing really well. And not just the one thing, but in particular, I mean, they've been doing really well as ships. I really felt like they did a great job with the Argo Raft. And I really feel like they've done a great job with the Hull A. The spindle system's fantastic on it. Really, really, really enjoying the Hull A. And of course, the external versus internal cargo thing is really going to be, an interesting mechanic as we go forward. They're really trying to sell that the external cargo is going to be quicker or, take less time to load. And obviously that must be a mechanic that they're building into the game. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. So off to Lyria we go. And to get the day started, and we're going to look around for some Quantanium to mine. I know that a couple of org members are on the server here with me, so we may ask them to come help us if we get into a jam or whatever. So we'll have to see how that goes. And by jam, I have been seeing kind of this new mechanic. It started a couple weeks ago, maybe almost 3 weeks ago, where occasionally, just like there are dead rocks in the Halo, occasionally there are what are called dead breaks, I've colloquially named them. And what that is when you do the first break on a yellow outline, you break the rock. One of the secondary rocks, one of the big rocks, is unscannable at that point. You cannot do anything with it. Now, another miner can come along and see it just fine and do the break, and then when it returns to purples, you can actually scoop it like it was never a thing or whatever, So, Chris, I'm really glad to hear that you're going to be headed home in a couple days. Obviously, I can really appreciate, having. I did, a couple of years ago, spend about 10 days in the hospital myself. And so I absolutely know that some of those just distractions, like things that you do that you can enjoy that maybe are part of your regular life, are a blessing to have when you're kind of laying in the hospital bed. And so, yeah, just positive thoughts, positive energy, glad to hear that you're heading home in a couple days and we'll gonna keep you in my thoughts for sure, sir. That is awesome. That you're that you can see the other side coming. And all right, so I'm going to poke around here, looking for a little... You don't want to go too far. Orphanage is probably usually a pretty good bet. And it's, with it only at 319, it'll be just a touch over the horizon. Not too bad, and we'll go head over that way. See if we can't get ourselves in trouble. Awesome. Wow, there's some doublers right off the bat. Look at that. Just sitting right there. Just like we planned it. It's funny. We'll go down and take a look at these guys and see what they got. Right off the bat. Mach 1 Greeble, sleepy time in the stream starts. Oh, it always is that time, you know. It's like late for me, early for you, early for me, late for you. Now this is a big boy here. It's a 12%er, a 6774. A little out of our wheelhouse. Nice to see you, Greeble. Nice. Up we go. Tab it out and head off in this direction and see if we can just look around. You know, I'd like to fly in whatever direction for a little while, but eventually I will pivot back towards the sun. You keep something in your 12 o'clock position so you don't get too crazy. Another set of doublers there right off the bat. We'll, you know, call ourselves lucky here as far as some real early scans. You can see it's a little weathery out, a little snowy. That's kind of fun. A little bit of wind. Some condensation on the glass there. Oh, it's 3 a.m. there. Holy smokes! Yeah, that's sounds like that's the night I had last night. I was up a touch late. So a couple of low percentage guys, couple of, you know, here in northern Michigan where I go shopping at the grocery store, there's obviously different grades of milk, and there's skim milk, 2%, and whole milk are your three big options, and 2% is, you know, what the family normally buys. Ever since I've been a kid, it's a blue cap on top of it, so it's a 2% milk's a blue cap. I've started referring to the to the 2%ers, because there's so many 2%ers, as blue caps. So if you ever hear me say, "Oh, there's a couple of blue caps," that's kind of where that's generated from. I'm not saying it's a great a great analogy, or that it has any overlap for any other part of the world. But somebody did ask me one time, was like, "Why are you calling the 2%ers blue caps?" And I thought, maybe I'll say something about that. So, Mach 1 says, "I've been having the most luck around Humboldt mines recently, but mostly 3,500 mass rocks everywhere." Interesting. It is funny how things get into a pattern, where you find over 6,000s, or you happen to get into a run of 3,500s or whatever. It's cool, Mach. I appreciate that, and we'll fly around the orphanage here for a bit, and maybe we'll sneak over that way to Humboldt if we're not getting lucky over this way. So, I like the landscape here. It's funny. There's our first. I almost didn't pivot on this port side and come over here and look, but I thought, well, let's go take a look and see what we got, and I'm glad I did. So our first cluster of the day, let's hope, cross our fingers and hope we get lucky. Just because you find a big batch of them, it doesn't mean that there's going to be something in there worth mining, but you hope that there is. So, Archer, hey, I clicked the invite to the voice chat, and And I lost my Discord privileges. Can't see. I'll fix that, Archer, in a bit. That is a, you know what? We just had made the channel. I don't know why. It's probably because, like, somehow or another getting invited to that channel, messed it up. Archer, I'll fix that, and I'll just right after the stream's over. I'm sorry about that. That was not the expected use case, and it's an edge case. But, it's a hard way to learn the lesson, but we'll get that sorted out soon. So right off the bat, I've got a 4,500 at 32% on the second one. Hey, Sandy, how are you today? It's funny. I said to Archer's, in our industry group, and, just really a fantastic miner. I invited him. We had created a new channel on our Discord, and I sent him an invite to the channel up there because it sounded like he said he couldn't see it. It's in our welcome area, and then it sounds like that somehow revoked his privileges. I'll have to get those fixed. Hey, Archer, tip of the spear, first to find the blood, right? That's the kind of the idea. You're the first guy who ever clicked that link, and I appreciate it. I'm sorry that happened. That's awesome. So we already do have something to mine here for sure, you guys. Sandy, how you doing? Oh, Sandy's been grinding in the mole. That is, Sandy, I'm so proud of you. Getting the mole is such a. This is going to be probably a halfway decent one. Yeah, look at that, 39%er. Ooh, boy. That's a 40-40, folks, right there. Not quite perfectly, but it's a 4639.11. So that's basically 32 SCU there. Sandy, yeah, it's so awesome when you get the mole. It really is. It's one of those moments where you worked really hard. It feels so good to just kind of dig in, work hard, grind it out, and earn it. And so, yeah, right off the bat, we found a cluster. There's a couple good rocks in here. So, Archer just, as a consolation prize, I suppose if you wanted to invite me to a group and fly over this way, you might make it here before I get to breaking this one done. And there is a rock here that's, it was probably, I don't know, it's a 4,500 at 32%, nothing to sneeze at. So, I could get put a little money in your pocket for taking away your Discord privileges. We'll get that fixed, I promise, sir, shortly, right after the stream. Oh, that's funny. And if you see two around, you can always just give him a DM and tell him that happened, because I know he could probably fix it too. So we'll get that all squared away, I promise. All right, so we're going to crank up on this guy right here. This is a good rock to go after. The old rule, 40-40, 4,000 mass, 40% is 32 SCU. So this is a 4645 at 39.11, so it's right in that wheelhouse. And so we'll break this guy up and see how much, how it breaks and how we do. Right off the bat here. Didn't take us too long to find something. So it's just about to climb up into the optimal. It's interesting. I'm kind of in there's like a little kind of hill here. So it's in a little bit of a dark place, so there's good contrast. Mach1 Greeble says that's like 60 SCU and 2 rocks. It is, Mach. Yeah, there's quite a bit there for sure. So there's this one here, which is a little over. And that one there, that's a little under 30. So, all right. So we're going to kind of feather down just a touch, and just kind of keeping an eye on it. As it starts to dive, we feather up, and as it, there you go, Archer. And so, kind of, you always want to flirt with the bottom of the optimal, not with the overcharge. If it falls out, it falls out. Just be patient. That's the most important thing here, is to be really patient. And as it kind of spikes up, you do want to feather down pretty radically. It's not a hard thing to do, but it is something that it does take focus, and you do want to stay attached to it. That's a good clean break. Mr. Azai, how are you this morning, sir? Yeah, so we're going to kind of see how this guy broke. That's a 41%er there. I'm going to start kind of port to starboard, left to right. We're going to take a look here. There's a hundo. That's a good sign. Ooh, there's another hundo. That's a real good sign. There's a hundo. That's a good sign. She broke clean. There's going to be a lot of these that don't have stuff in it too. So that one doesn't have any in it. What about this one that's kind of impacted in the ground here? Nothing in that one. So the one that was really impacted doesn't have a lot in it. And I wouldn't expect a whole lot in this one either. Yeah, so it does look like we've kind of, let me see if I'm over on this one, if it outlines. Yep, it is. So all these rocks on this side, I've got 3 hundos and a 40 here. Really easy, very clean, nice. Yeah, and Chris is saying good shadows today. And so just, he's absolutely right. I'm tucked away in a nice shadow here. I've got really good contrast. And then Mr. Zai says, I'm great, about to hop on Lost Ark for my dailies and then get over to Destiny 2. Hey, I noticed you're playing Destiny 2. I like that game. Looks like you're doing great already with the rocks. Yeah, we are doing really good, Mr. Zai. And, yeah, man, Lost Ark is one of those ones. I haven't caught up with it yet, but I sure have read that Paladin is a sneaky good class, and I think the one that you had been playing a lot of. I don't know if you changed, but it seems like the world loves Lost Ark, and it doesn't surprise me. It looks like a cool game, for sure. I played a little bit of Sniper Elite 4 last night with a buddy from work, and that was a lot of fun. I'd never played that game. It's got this weird mechanic where when you do certain kinds of shots on people, it goes to this close-up cam. It's pretty brutal. But it was an interesting game, and he really likes the game, and I had a lot of fun playing with him last night, and I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Not something I had ever played before. A Sniper Elite 5 is coming out later this year, so it was just one of those things. So we got that first break done, and we're going to break up these other 3 hundos and do some scooping right off the bat. So Mach 1 Griebel says, I use my HOTAS throttle for the mining laser now. It's easier now. I'm not fighting with the mouse wheel. You know what, Mach? I can really appreciate that, and at some point, if you think about like the articulation up and down with the laser intensity, I think you're right. I mean, there probably are better mechanical applications than the mouse wheel for the job. I mean, I've gotten used to the mouse wheel, and I don't have any problems with it myself. I use a G5, I think it's called, a Logitech mouse, and I do really like that mouse. I don't have a ton of problems with it on the mouse wheel side of things, but I could certainly see where there definitely are some parts of my joysticks that are very smooth on the VKB Gladiators, and I do wonder, if I should maybe try and map that one time to that and see if it was any better. But yeah, I love the fact that there are so many different ways that all of us figure out ways to accomplish the things that work for us. I've actually considered myself even getting like the Tobii eye tracker stuff, but I have heard that kind of messes up the rock mining. Like maybe you have to either turn it off when you rock mine, or it does it where it moves the mining laser arm around. So that's kind of, once I think they get that little bugaboo worked out, I'll mess around with that. Mr. Zai says, I've got close to 4 hours in Destiny 2. Over the years, Sniper Elite looks awesome with the slow-mo shots. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like the slow motion shot mechanic stuff is really kind of crazy. If you ever did get Lost Ark Paladin's nuts, yep. Yeah, and then Mr. Zai saying, try the wheel. That's exactly right. Try the wheels on the VKB Gladiator. I think I probably should try those. If not, just to say, hey, I tried them. You know what I mean? And when people ask, it's like, to have some perspective on the different types of things. And so, I definitely am somebody sometimes who gets a little bit kind of stuck in my ways when things are working for me, but I've definitely tried to get outside of that comfort zone a little bit as people have talked to me about the ways that they handle things, and I think that it's a healthy thing occasionally to do. So we're at the end of the brand here, and we ended up with a good break, and off we went there. And so we've got this 99%er left, and that's the last of it before we begin scooping. So Chris Bates says, physical therapy time. Be right back. Chris, we're thinking about you, man. For all of you who are on the stream today, Chris just mentioned that he's spending a couple days in the hospital. No, not a lot of details there, and don't really need them. Spending a little bit of time in the hospital myself. It's not a place that any human wants to spend any length of time in. And if you have it in your heart and soul, just a quick well wish or a quick just a thought. you know, for another human soul out there who's going through a little something. It's never a bad thing, and you know, obviously, he's going to go do a little bit of physical therapy and come back. And I know how all that goes. You're kind of on this routine that the hospital's got for you when you're there, and you know, it's one of those things where any little distractions like this type of thing is a nice thing to have. So, Mach 1 Greeble says, tracker moves the center view around when you're mining. I disable when mining. Oh, yeah, that's the one reason I haven't gone with kind of like those, like Toby or whatever system, is because I don't want to necessarily tangle with like having to remap a bunch of stuff. It's so funny. I mean, even my gladiators, you know, it's like I don't want to have to remap those a bunch. I mean, it takes a while to get them just right, you know. So, anyways, we've got a lot of good scooping here. And Archer, will you kind of let me know? Are you kind of getting close to over this way, or you know, I don't want to necessarily leave if if in a minute or two you're going to be over here, because I know that you did join the group. If you're headed this way, I'll hold the line, because this is going to be some easy scooping. It's going to go fairly fast. So, cool. All right, this is going to be a lot of hundos here. This was a super clean break. There was one 40% break, but it was kind of the most, the lowest rock, the most southernest rock to where I'm at. I suppose. I don't really. I know port and starboard. What's up and down? I don't know. Thanks for those words, guys. It's yeah. Obviously, it's 14, you certainly understand as well. I mean, dealing with that kind of stuff is not easy, and it can really take a toll on one's soul and spirit, and it's one of those things where just a little bit of distraction is a godsend in the most respectful sense. 16 is close. Okay, that's awesome. No problem. I just if you're chatting with 16, have him let me know when he gets here. I'm going to hold the line. This is going to be a quick extraction, as you guys can imagine. We're just kind of scooping up the hundos. Oh, Trube has started QT to my location. That's cool. All right, that's awesome. And we are rocking right off the bat. I really love doing the Saturday kind of mid-morning stream. It's I'm up, I'm a little awake. You don't have to. You don't have work that day, and nothing wrong with work. I mean, good job, and happy there. But it's just kind of nice just to kind of get up and be able to do the stream. Now it's kind of why I'm starting to get discerning with the laser here on the ones down in this area. This was a 40%er that broke up, so it looks like it broke clean though. Look, there's two there with nothing in it. So I don't know that this guy could have broke much cleaner. There's another hundo we're going to scoop up. Alrighty. What do we got here? That's a 55. Is this one? Yeah, there's a little purple piece off the edge here. Let's take a look at that. There may not have been enough for a uni here, or there may have been enough. We'll have to just kind of see. We're getting into uni territory, but it just depends on how these last ones broke. Now, Archer, I know that there's only the one rock here. I'll just mention. I mean, you guys could work on it together, but I think there was just the one rock here, one extra rock here. There's another hundo, so we're gonna be real close, you guys. This is gonna get us to 29 point and some change. What about? All right, so it looks like we're not going to quite hit a uni, which is no big deal. We're at 29 and some change. I can't remember. Yeah, well, I knew the uni was gone, so no big deal there. But let me see which one of these was better. Oh, that had nothing. So this guy had 53% in it. So this is going to get us over 30. Boy, look at how weathery it's getting here. That's fun. And I think this guy had nothing. I think it had nothing. One more time, just double check. Oh, there's a hundo sitting there. Well, that was silly of me. It may not have got me there anyways, though. I only ended up with 30.99. That probably and it immediately destroyed. So let me see. There's Archer. He's 315 away. Let me see see if I can see where Trube's at. Trying to, I got plenty of time here, but I just want to make sure that I don't see 16. And I might just be missing it. Let me just kind of back away from the rocks just a touch. I don't have 16's, I don't have Troob's, but Archer's coming in real hot. That's awesome, Archer. Appreciate it. And there's one rock here that's got about, around 29 SCU or so. We've got plenty of time, you guys. It's no panic. Archer's moving in at a reasonable clip. Not going crazy, but obviously, you can see him coming in, and this is one of the beauty things of having a little community is, if you stumble across a little more than you can get, or if you happen to come across a rock that's a little bigger than you can crack, it's really nice to have people that just want to kind of fly in and, grab, and we have a rule. If you found it, you're the one who gets first scoop, and for the most part, sometimes guys will say, yeah, go ahead and take it. But, I know that this morning, 16 got his first unicorn, and Archer helped him do it. And so that's what it's all about, man. Getting your first uni under your belt is just awesome. So much fun. And so Archer's coming in here, and Archer, I think I'm gonna bail. I think you're probably where you need to be. So I'm gonna spool this guy up and get out of here. And you'll find the one rock that had something in it there. So, all right. So I'm gonna kind of get up above the, the cloud line here, and then as soon as you break 2,000, you can kind of spool up on arc. And that's the nice thing about Leary is you don't have to get real high up in the atmosphere before you can just kind of punch it and get out of there. And off we go. So, very good beginning to the stream right off the bat. I'm getting a quantum interdiction. This is awesome. Let's see what's happening here. And so we're going to just punch it. I've seen a little bit of this lately. And so here's what we're doing. We're just straight line boosting. Don't worry about this interdiction. You take it up to max velocity, and you fire it back up. You fire up the quantum drive again, and you just punch it out of here. So, that's the thing. It's like, look at, we'll see how this goes, right? But timer's ticking, like Archer says. He got real close. I held for an extra, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe even a minute after the scoop, in order to preserve the cluster there. A couple of org mates were coming in to double check to make sure that there wasn't anything else there besides the one extra rock. I've gotten interdicted on the way back to Arc L1. Just calm, cool, collected, just kind of buzz through it. Now, obviously, an interdiction, a PvE interdiction is a different situation than a PvP interdiction. A PvP interdiction, you might want to make those negotiations quick. Oh, Mr. Zai, thank you. Mr. Zai says, I don't think there is up and down the ship lingo. We have forward, aft, port, and starboard. Up and down doesn't exist in our current ship. It most certainly doesn't. Obviously, you're absolutely right about 14. It's funny, Zai. And then Joey Goodwin. Hey, Joey, welcome to the channel. How you doing this morning? Joey Goodwin says, I would love this game in VR. I agree with that 100%. I have, Joey, I will tell you, a 49-inch wide screen. Now, I don't always play it 5120 by 1440. I play at 1440 for the most part, so it's kind of like the borderless 1440 is in the middle of my screen with with OBS and my chat on either side. But when I play 5120 by 1440, it's amazing. With the R curve, it's crazy. So, virtual VR would take that up to another notch. And the one time I played Elite Dangerous in VR, it was really cool. Bellios, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. It's awesome. All right, so we're going to just kind of... We haven't heard first alarm yet, even though, we waited a little extra time to let Archer get in there and preserve the cluster, and we were interdicted. So it just goes to show you, obviously, the one thing that really helped, it was a clean break. So by the time we began scooping, it was primarily just hundos and a little bit of Garbola at the end. But we ended up with a 30.99 SCU, or almost 31 SCU. So there's first alarm. So we're in good shape. Chris Bates says, being in the hospital isn't bad compared to the coincidences after getting out. Bills, oh yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. The stress of having to pay the hospital bills can be certainly more stressful than the actual hospital visit itself. Darkside666, how are you, Darkside? Good greetings to you as well. Darkside came in and said greetings to you, and it's good to see you, Darkside, for sure. Hey, Bellia says he's rocking the 49-inch 5120 by 1440. It's lovely. A Samsung CR, yeah, exactly. Those. I've got that Odyssey G9 thing. It's a nice monitor. It's a bit of a splurge, but I've really enjoyed having the real estate where I can do a 1440 borderless, and then have like monitor OBS and the chat stream at the same time. It's really been a game changer in that capacity. I really feel like I can be more attentive, which is an important thing. So we're getting the gear down here. We're just buzzing first alarm. We're just fine. We're going to set her down nice and smoothly here. Do our post-flight run in and store the ship. Now, if I was a little tighter on time, I might consider landing on the wrong pad, but I'm groovy. We'll make it. Post-flight. We'll get out of our seat, and off we go. Now, Bellios, I got the first generation G9, not the Neo. The Neo's the newer one. So it is the first generation, but it's got the 240 millisecond, and seems to be, it's a really nice monitor. It's a crazy nice monitor, but it was on a really good sale. It wasn't like, I think the Neo was probably $700 or $800 more than this one. So this was kind of like the original G9. I'm very happy with it. But that Neo is crazy for sure. I don't think it was called the Neo anyways. Maybe. No, I don't think it is. I definitely always consider having nice computer equipment. A privilege, not a flex for sure. I grew up in the trailer park. I don't live there now, but it was, we lived a little hand to mouth growing up, and my mom and dad did a good job, and eventually we got ourselves, lifted up by our bootstraps and out of that situation. But this stuff it's never lost on me. It's one of those things where it's a blessing, heavens and stars, yeah. Still chasing my first uni, but getting close with tips from the stream. Thank you all for sharing your tips. Yeah, Bellios, just to kind of keep your, I don't know if you heard earlier, but Trube or 16, who's on the, who's kind of been mining with us here, and kind of hanging out and being part of the group, and just a really, great human being. He got his first uni today, so we celebrate that stuff. When that's an awesome feeling to get your first uni under your belt. It's a super cool thing, and I know that soon you'll be in that. KSS is saying, easy now, mate. I really do think that Sig nerf Quantanium percentages on Leary, but yesterday I did find a cluster 8 strong, 5 out of the 8 greater than 20%. Didn't have to crack 3 of them. You know what, KSS, when we find multiple rocks that are around 20%, we call that a working man's cluster. It's just because you don't have like the super, you don't have the super big, the 1 or 2 rocks that just knock it out of the park. You kind of got to work at it to, break a couple of 2 or 3 rocks down to get yourself there. But that's always, nothing wrong with that. Rolling up your sleeves and busting a few rocks to get there. Mr. Zai says, I feel you on that. I shared a closet to sleep with 2 brothers as a kid, and they had everything now. It's a blessing. The things that you earn for yourself in life, it's a it's just a blessing. It's one of those things. It's just whenever you can kind of roll up your sleeves and dig in and work hard and make it, make something happen for yourself. It's a proud thing to be able to do. So I got a few work orders done here, but you can see we put in not quite a uni. We're still working. We ended the night on our Thursday night mining run with a about a 70 SEU run for the mole. Yeah, anyways, yep, 29.44 in the hopper. Nothing to be ashamed of there. That's a good start to the old mining stream, and we're not even that long into it. So I think we'll take one run back to Lyria and see how we do next, and we'll go ahead and just take a look and make sure that we're okay with brands and all that stuff. So doing our pre-flight, normally we do the pre-flight running up the but, you know, stopped and quick pre-flight there. KSS is saying, rocks included 6,000 mass, 48%er, and still walked away. 76 SCU in my mole. I had to leave loads on the floor, so it's possible that could have been a mole uni, which would have been nice. That does sound like if you'd have broke all that down, KSS, that could have been a mole uni. And, you know, it's weird. You know, things have to break really nice on multiple rocks to get a mole uni. And I've only had one mole uni before. You know, a full 96 SCU Quantanium. It was awesome to get that. They are rare, which makes them even more special. So we did notice a downturn ourselves as well, KSS, for sure, as far as the mining went. But we still were grinding out millions a week. So the downturn didn't necessarily slow us down a ton. We just weren't kind of dragging in as much as we, you know, were for a little while. And maybe with Jumptown settling down a little bit, we'll have to see how things kind of how things get back. So one thing I will mention to you guys as I'm kind of headed back out to the ship is, you know, as a reminder, we do have a really great app. Like, for anybody who's interested, we have a great app. It's called QuantCalc. It quickly helps you discern how much SEUs in a Quantanium rock. You just put in a mass, you put in a percentage, bang, it will give you tell you how much SEUs in it. Then you can add more rocks if you have 2 or 3 of them, so you can kind of total out the cluster. It's $1. It's on. It's an early release. It's on the Google Play Store, and we are taking. If people have suggestions for that, we definitely are looking for feedback. Really, more than anything, it's not a you're not a huge investment. It's a great little tool to have, and I definitely thought that I would mention it. So I didn't have to use QuantCalc really strangely on that other rock because it was like a 4,600 39%. I knew it was like basically a 40-40. And so, I just, instinctively kind of, you kind of get used to that kind of stuff. So, all right. So off we go back out to the prospector. Secretly, I've been wanting to go to Walla lately. I don't know why. Maybe to fly around and waste time more. But I think I will head back. We had such a good hit on Lyria. I think it'd be strange not to just go back and give her a second opportunity, and see if we can't get lucky again real quick. So KSS says, even though the percentages have changed, it's still possible to find those sweet numbers. Do you really think they just modified it for JT or permanently? I love QuantCalc, by the way. Oh, thanks for the love QuantCalc. Appreciate that for sure. I just think that maybe KSS, my own thought was maybe with the events going on, like things weren't just spawning as the same, or there might have been just something going on there. I don't know that the percentages have been tweaked. The one thing I always wanted to do was kind of get a week or two outside of Jumptown and Ninetails and that stuff, and just kind of feel it out at that point, and so, interesting thoughts though, for sure. I definitely noticed a downtick, and I think that most of the people who came to the stream noticed a downtick too, but still we're able to keep our head above water and make quite a bit of money, Darkside666 grinded the whole week in the mole, in the belt, first time managed to fill a caterpillar and made a few credits in area in 18. You know what? Filling a cat with refined Quantanium and taking that in is a great feeling. That is a lot of money, probably in the neighborhood of 5 million. That's just a rough estimate. I know I hauled in, some amount for 4.3, not terribly long ago, and that was, it's an interesting feeling, Dark, that when you haul in a big, you've worked and worked and worked, and you finally are ready to take that in and get the payoff. It's a great feeling. KSS says at the moment, screen stuck on a single rock page. I can't have clusters larger than one. Is it bugged? I'm on Android. Try and hit reset, KSS, once it is in early release, once in a blue moon, I've hit a snag where I literally uninstalled it and reinstalled it real quick. Not ideal. We certainly understand that, but it's not. It's a very small download. So when I did hit a situation where, like, I clicked advanced and it kind of got itself in a wonky state, I think I did end up eventually uninstalling and just reinstalling it, and it started behaving better right after that. So that's another option. Like I said, not ideal, but keep me posted, because those are the types of things that we want to know about. And if you do get a use case, and what I mean by that is, I know if I click here, here, and here, it totally freaks out the thing. Definitely let us know. We want to fix anything that's in there. So. And then Belios is a good tip. Toggle for key screen awake. It will override the phone screen timeout, so we don't have to keep opening the phone. That's a good tip. It's more of a luxury than quality of life option. Yeah, luxury of life than quality of life. I appreciate that. That's a good way to put it, Belios. That's pretty funny. All right, so we came out. We immediately got down on some doublers, flew around just a little bit, and found ourselves in a very, very, on a couple of nice rocks in a cluster. Ended up hauling 30.99 SCU in first run. So we're back out again and see if we can double dip here on Lyria today. As always, if you like the content, absolutely click like and sub. And one of the things I'll tell you guys is that helps other miners kind of find the channel. We have a great mining community going here. Just lots of people answering questions. I have learned so much from you guys. You guys show me, keep me well informed. I love the information exchange that happens on this channel. Everybody's helping everybody. There's been a lot of good a good banter and just good Star Citizen theory crafting. That's been fantastic. It's so much fun to do. And also, if Sandy's around still, Sandy would even let you know. The other night, Santa Claus was, he's a regular on the stream, was out and about, and we just we managed to get him in the group, and he was on a cluster and helped us out, and we helped him out a little bit with the and so yeah, I mean, we're not out here, we're just blue collar miners. We're out here just having fun. We're not out here to take all your, we want everybody to do well. That's the thing, so we want to share, we're teaching you all of our tips and tricks, all the best ways that we're the most efficient at this stuff. And people have differences of opinion, and that's one of the cool things about mining in Star Citizen. We're going to get below the cloud cover here. It's a little spooky to do, but boom, you just pop out from underneath there, and you're not actually crashing, but it does feel like it for a moment. So, Goat King, welcome to the channel, Goat King. How are you? Just wanted to say, not a name I've necessarily seen before in the stream. I try to remember everybody's name as much as I can. But great question. Do we have an organization? We do. It's called Spectre Fleet. There is a link in the description of the stream. And one of the cool things about Spectre Fleet is you don't have to mine. We have an industry, but we also have an unbelievable medical, group. We, and really good training in medical stuff. We have a Marines group if you like FPS. We have obviously also the air combat stuff, our space combat fighter stuff, a fighter wing. We have a logistics wing as well. We have an expeditionary group that's an EU group. So we do have a really good organized group, and no pressure, Goat King. Just check out the SpectreFleet.space. Just check out the channel. Check out that page. And then you can always just jump in the Discord, ask any questions you want. It's a very well organized group, and we're really blessed to have some real talented folks in there. That good website, really good Discord tools, and yeah. So yeah, give it a thought. Absolutely. All right, so we got a Goji is I don't know. Sometimes you see those strange little kind of this dot that and. Now, not sure if that's a bot or something. Chris is absolutely right. Don't forget medical. You know, I said medical right off the bat. I thought I said it first, Chris. I hope I did. If 14's in here, he's going to yell at me if I didn't. I promised him that medical would be first when a couple of streams ago, that when I mentioned it, because, you know, medical is the medical stuff gameplay is, yeah, I did. Yeah, 14. Yay, I'm off the hook with 14. Hey, there's some doublers right there, guys. Yeah, no, I promised 14 I would say something. We've actually, oh, there's a cluster too. Okay, so it's right there at that top of the hill. So I will definitely pivot on these doublers, but I definitely want to keep an eye on where kind of the top of, okay, there's that pointed peak there, so a little bit off that. I don't want to get those. There's a cluster over there that I'm trying to keep on the radar. So awesome, no problem. We will find it. We'll come in here and see if there's something worth mining here. So right off the bat, we're 71.33 with 2%. That's a blue cap right there. And we'll keep moving. Yeah, Chris is like, he just didn't hear it. No problem, Chris. No worries whatsoever. But you're absolutely right. Now this is not a perfect rock. It's a 3300 at 23%. So I will QuantCalc that. I think this is, if I guess what, 223, so 246 and then 90. So around 714 SCU or so. This is probably around 15 SCU. I'm going to guess, but I am going to just jump in QuantCalc and, yeah, that was my random guess. Let's see how close I am. So I'm loading up QuantCalc right now. And it will be just a sec. And I'm going to punch in the numbers. Hey. There it goes. All right, so we got and I hadn't booted it up yet. So it's 3391, and it is at 23%. We will calculate that rock, and that calculates out at 15.59. So pretty good estimate. You know, kind of rough math in my head. Got a little cluster over this that we're going to go take a peek at. So, so Darkside says it was nice to add a registry setting to enable CPU usage. And then followed up. It's high when the game launches. Oh, that's interesting. You know, that's cool to check out CPU usage, you know, and monitor those types of things. Darkside. Goat King says, I watched the stream of yours for a month or two ago. Yeah, I started streaming around Christmas, like maybe a couple of days after Christmas. I don't remember, like something along those lines. I really wasn't planning on doing a whole lot of these, but right off the bat, there was just a lot of people who liked the mining stream, and I decided I really like doing it. So it's just been one of those things that's kind of really organic. It just kind of built itself up. Now there's a 4100 at 24%, a little better than the rock I just found. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of these here. This is a 4972 2%er. So just a little cluster of 4 here we found. That's a 3%er there. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. So, okay, so we got a couple rocks here, right? We've got a 3231, and we've got a 4124. So here's what I'm going to do, and this is kind of one of the cool things about QuantCalc. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to actually just hit reset real quick because I had the one rock in there. Then I'm going to punch in this one. So this is a 4178 at 24.9. So 24.9. We're going to calculate that rock, and then we're going to go ahead and get this rock here. We're going to go 3213, and we're going to pop this in at 31.6, and then we're going to go add rock, and then it's going to, the cool thing is it's going to tell me between these two rocks there's 41 SCU. So that's kind of fun, you know, to know kind of between these two rocks there's, you know, depending on how it breaks, and It's not, they probably won't, you never know. I mean, I probably shouldn't say probably won't. You got to give them their opportunity to. But they may not necessarily break clean, so it's not a guaranteed uni just because there's 41 SCU here. But I'll tell you what, we're going to crack both these and take a good run at it. So, because there's a potential of 40 some SCU here, between these two, we'll go ahead and break them down and see how they break. So, trying to scooch over and use the shadow a touch there for some contrast. I'll get in here in a more effective range. Good. We'll go ahead and crank it up and start trying to get this first break in here. So took the laser intensity to 100%. Charge levels climbing. I've got the optimal window tucked right in the shadow there. It's to give myself a little contrast, and I've got I can articulate the mining head a little bit. We're at about 50% in climbing, and off we go. We're going to break both these rocks and try and do some discerning scooping and get us, if they break clean, then we potentially could come away with a uni. If they don't, we're going to do our very best to get as much on board as we possibly can. First run was about 30.99 or 31 SCU, so we're already on to a second one that's potential for high 20s, depending on the breaks, and we'll work with this. So climbing into the optimal, it was racing up towards the overcharge. I normally fall off to about 50% and kind of gauge it from there. Let it fall out if it wants to fall out as opposed to keeping it up near the overcharge. You can just kind of keep on it. Good, just feather back and forth, feather back and forth. As it falls out, feather up. As it gets high up to the overcharge, feather back. And that's just the mouse wheel in this particular case, or whatever you have mapped as as kind of the mining articulator. So, all right, looks like a good break there. That's going to be a 35%er. And what I mean by good break is a lot of it seemed to, not a ton of it was impacted. But we'll have to see here. So this is going to be a 15%er. So right off the bat, it looks like this broke kind of dirty, and that's okay. This is going to have nothing. What does this guy have? This guy is going to have 48. So yeah, you can see these aren't hundreds. And not to say that they won't necessarily break, this has got nothing. That you won't be able to get hundos out of here, because you certainly might be able to. But in this particular case, there's nothing that's 100%er that to begin with. So you're definitely going to have to be very discerning with the laser, and with having to scoop too. You can see this guy really broke dirty. So no problem. We'll just get to work. Let's roll up our sleeves and get this guy broke up, and then we'll fly over to the other rock, break that up, begin some scooping. Unless I just heard Archer's laser there. I might have. I hear another. There we go. That's funny right there. So I thought I heard another laser kind of pop up there. So we'll take the help. That's awesome, Archer. I appreciate that. He's over here kill stealing. Yeah, that's funny, Bellios. I thought that might have been. I thought I heard another laser start there. I was like, it's either that or I turned the stream up. So easy peasy. Darkside says, thank you for advising of your org. When I checked on your Discord link, I thought I had the wrong org, was expecting a mining org, not a hardcore military-style org. You're right. Our industry group is the backbone for definitely a more intelligence-based military organization. We're the public face of that, But for the most part, we're a pretty consolidated, small kind of, try to be an organized group, but we do, industry's kind of the financial backbone of that, as you can imagine. So it is interesting. I mean, Spectre Fleet's a great group, but there definitely are. It's not a hardcore mining group, that's for sure. We have unbelievable miners, and like I said, we are kind of the industrial backbone of the military industrial complex that is Spectre fleet. But quietly behind the scenes, we have some really, really excellent FPS guys and some really good pilots. And so we support that. We support those wings of the organization with industrial prowess. So that's kind of the goal there. So interesting, yeah. Good group though. There's all sorts of stuff. Once again, medical and logistics and some other stuff. Or if you really like FPS or really like doing some training in some of the in the fighter pilot stuff. Good group, guys, for sure. Fighter nights, mining nights. Not a major commitment really. We have kind of a 1 hour a week that we really do want kind of a mandatory commitment, but that's not a heavy lift. Even I'm a father of 4, and I can make it. So yeah. I can hear out my door. I have a beagle that is crying to go outside. So as soon as I break this rock, I need to actually text my little guy here in the house and have him take care of that. Multitasking, it's a thing. Oh, I let it fall out when I was multitasking. Oh no. I texted my son and said, please let the beagle out. Hey, Morviv, how you doing? No, it's not a rooster. That is my beagle. And she is grumpy. And if I may have to go let her outside here if I don't get a response back. Usually when she's that sad, it's important. She's getting older. She's 11. So, hold on 1 second. I'm going to put this on, I'm going to mute. Just give me 30 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. That was just a quick ghetto yell to my 11-year-old and got that squared away. Oh. When I was growing up, my dad was a master sergeant in the military, and there was always just the thunderous yell across the house that also contained instructions. So I occasionally employ that when I need something done, kind of on the in a hurry. So I don't do it often, but occasionally when I do, it's funny. I can always hear the sigh upstairs from my 11-year-old. More of saying he's having a kid-free day today. Oh, I can appreciate that for sure. And it's funny as my older children have gotten out of the house. I've got 24, 20, and 18. And they're not around on the weekends anymore. The rents aren't cool, and they've got life to live. So it's been interesting, kind of making that transition from having a bunch of little folks in the house to most of the little folks being out of the house and most of the children being somewhat autonomous or whatever. He's getting mute and grab jumper games. That's hilarious. All right, so there's so many rocks to break up here. This thing is utter garbola here. I've appreciated Archer's willingness to come and throw an extra laser on here, because this, as you can see, the two brands here, I'll show you guys something, which is a really interesting thing. Okay, I turned off my laser. Watch the instability. The instability will drop. It'll go right back up. It'll redraw at 1.48. The second brand, pardon me, these are the Lancet laser heads. I'm sorry about that. He had his Lancet on there. It went up to 1.48. I put my laser back on there, and it drops down to 0.37. The lasers do stack. When you have multiple lasers going on one rock, it does stack, and you don't even have to use consumables at that point. it's an easy break. I mean, well, I'm not making it look easy, but it is an easy break. You know, I mean, 0.37 instability, 0.03 resistance. You know, oh yeah, 14. Man, my dad was a sergeant. Yeah, he a couple tours in Vietnam, sergeant, and you know, was just a interesting cat for sure. I mean, of course, is alive. You know, blessed to have him alive today. You know, he's in his 70s now, so he actually occasionally takes orders from me. And you know how it's funny how life has turned. But he definitely barked out orders, and it was pretty much, you know, there weren't a lot of choice. It was a benevolent dictatorship, but nonetheless a dictatorship. Growing up, and when Dad barked orders, it was all she wrote. Yes, sir. No, sir. There was not a lot of arguing, and I'm pretty sure, you know, even in my dad's 70s, I mean, definitely in his late 60s, he could have backhanded me, you know, right down to the floor. I mean, he was not a guy to be toyed with. I mean, I never had to be tough in life because, man, behind me was that dude. You know, so I got to, you know, kind of be a computer nerd and got away with that because, you know, my dad was definitely probably the guy who was going to beat up your dad. You know, he's that guy. You know, so he's just a rough customer. You know, so anyways, and while I'm over here watching the chat and not paying that great of attention here. Hey, come on now. I'll turn the laser off and let it kind of... I did roll it back to 40% or whatever. Hey, yeah, appreciate that, Bellios. That's good stuff, and I'll definitely mention something to Dad. Redemption, how are you doing? Let's see, back talking about traveling to the next week. Absolutely, Redemption. Nice to see you. Welcome to the channel. Not a name I recognize. But yeah, there was once or twice when I got to be 16, 17, I got a little froggy with my dad and wished I didn't. And, you know, my dad never laid a glove on me that I wasn't dishonest to his face. Or he didn't just I mean, I don't want to ever paint the picture that he was in any way abusive dad. He wasn't. But there was a couple times I was dishonest to his face, and once or twice I challenged him when I probably should have learned that wasn't a smooth move. And, you know, I look back on it and realize it was my fault, not his. Even though he, you know, apologizes profusely for those moments in life, and we're great friends, you know, and you know, and just adore him and thank him for, you know, if your main role as a dad is to be a protector, I hit the lottery, you know, so. In that capacity, I mean, he taught me how to shoot a bow, you know, taught me all the, you know, fundamentals of you know, some of the bigger things in life, and was absolutely just a stellar human being, you know, to me as his son for sure. Bellios pops his master gunnery sergeant. It's like living with the great Santini. Exactly. I know, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Life lessons, exactly. You know, it's funny, you know, I mean, most of the time on the mining stream I don't really chat about personal stuff, so it's interesting that it drifted into this topic, and it's a narrative I don't mind talking about. I really do feel blessed in that capacity. More VIP, heard from 58 today. Deployment was extended. Sorry to hear that, but 58 is the guy who runs our Marine group, and is just, you know, the living example of today's superhero. You know, he is, you know, out deployed, you know, doing hero's work. I'm sure somewhere he's got a Superman cape on, and sorely missed, but is a fantastic leader for our, you know, for our FPS group. And, you know, obviously this is just a game. You know, he's out there doing real life work, and so we just, you know, count our blessings because he's on the front lines, kind of holding it down for people like us to have Saturdays where we can just get together and do a little mining and count our blessings. So it's not lost on me. All right, so that's a nothing guy sliding down there. I wonder what this guy ended up being. This purple guy. I'm just gonna put a scan on it. I knew there was a little hillside here, so little of this is on the slide. 47%er, I'll have to remember that's down there. One of these was a hundo that broke. And we'll have to kind of scoop those rocks. They slid off to the other side. That's a nothing. Okay, there's a couple there. This, I do have one. Oh, that's a big purple underneath there. Wonder how that guy broke. Oh, that's a hundo. That's probably a pretty good size hundo. That's a 328 hundo, you guys. And this is nothing, and this is nothing. I think we're ready to scoop. So this is a good start here. I don't think there's anything else here that... Yep, I think we're going to start off with putting this 6 SCU of Quantanium in the hopper, and off we go. Good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Yep, that's 6.5 SCU of the good stuff. There's a hundo right there. We'll take that. We'll take a look at this guy. I'm going to get a sip of coffee here. That's a hundo. We're off to a really good start. This is going to take us up over 10 SCU. And then we have these 3 guys hanging down here. I think that these broke off the hundo, if I'm not mistaken, but let's just kind of be discerning with our laser. We don't want to blow the opportunity of a uni early. There was a total of 41 SCU between these 2 rocks. I got blessed that Archer decided to show up and help me put these lasers on this thing, and off we go today. So there was I know there's a 58%er laying over at the bottom of the hill over there. That's a hundo too. So I think we've done really well to begin with. Now this other one, it broke up fairly trashy. So not a ton. And I know this one down here is that 50-some percenter. So we're going to have to kind of pick our way through this one. Let me kind of get a sense of where Archer is. All right, yep. A little bit of situational awareness. Never a bad thing when 2 of you are floating in the area. And I'm just going to kind of start from the bottom here. And anything that's a hundo, I'm going to grab. But this is going to be, we're going to have to kind of stay. Yep, there's a 77%er. A lot of this is going to have broke up yucky, you guys. So there's probably... We'll have to see. There might be some hundos in here to pick at. There's a 55. But, we're not going to, have all night here either. Obviously, we've already began scooping. We're at 13. Right now, we're at 13. Now, you can see I don't have an outline on that one. That's not great, but no big deal. We're looking for anything that's 100%er first. Is kind of the idea here. Now we understand this is all partials down here in the south part of this. That big one was just a very low percentage. I'll have to try and remember that. 138, nothing in that one. Kind of working our way up towards the top, and 40%er. Yeah, this guy broke up, and and it seemed like it was breaking up kind of yucky. 84. Gonna just check a few more of these to see if there's any hundos in here, because obviously you want to try and pack as much in here as you can. But it didn't break clean. Here's where the FLTR XL is really gonna pay me some dividends. It's gonna help. It's not gonna fix all the woes, but it's gonna help. There's a hundo. So this is kind of why we were doing this, right? We want to kind of get as much pure on board as possible. This is gonna help us get up. That helped us get very close to. Get a little perspective there. Oh, yep, right there. Kind of, if we're close to a hundo, let's see if we get another hundo. Nope, 13%er. The scanner is being kind of nice to us. We're down at 12 minutes. We're still got plenty of time. Remember the last haul, I waited a minute or two for Archer, and then not a minute or two, but maybe a minute or so for Archer as he was coming in to kind of grab the other rock, and then I was interdicted. So there's time, you guys. You don't have to get crazy here. I mean, you're on the timer, but there's time. So that's a 38%er. So yeah, this is where it gets kind of like, yeah, you're gonna do the best you can here. So there we go. There's another hundo. I think I've scanned basically every rock, and if we come across another hundo, then I may have missed it, and that's okay. But we're gonna kind of start down here again. And I'm just going to pop them. I know, just to get them started on the scan. I definitely know that 77%er is now. That's what I'm doing. Anything that's kind of post 50. I know there was an 80%er in here or something along the way, so we are just going to kind of hit these guys and see what we got. Rescan them. Sometimes they won't scan, and that's okay. That's a 55%er. Yeah, that's above 50, so we'll grab it. It's barrel. The filter didn't help the ton there because that was kind of barrel, but we're over 25 SCU. We're not worried here. Now, what's interesting here is, yeah, Quantanium is going up. I can't scan this rock. Oh, not as much as I want, though. It looked like it jumped there for a second, but it only went from 79 to 80, so it must have been a pretty low percentage. There's a 23%er. I know that there's a little bit better than that in there. I've kind of, I've still got 11 minutes. Bellio says, new question. Do rocks despawn? Took me a long time the other night to break a few. I swear they do. They absolutely despawn, and that is, yep. It's like 14 saying right there, they absolutely despawn. And yeah, we've had that happen many times, and especially, it can take a while. It usually does take a while, but it's a thing for sure. All right. I thought there was one more like 80%-ish or something like that up in here, but I don't seem to be finding it. Just kind of popping them, and that's a 4%er. And it doesn't remember the scans, right? So that's, yeah, there's an 84. I thought there was one more kind of 80-ish one. All right, so we're real close to cap, and this guy had some in it. So, you know what? This guy didn't break up quite as clean as we'd hoped, so we're 29.75. That's still an incredibly respectful run. Archer, I tip my hat to you, sir. I really did appreciate the assistance on that one. I'm going to pivot up, kind of, look for clear skies. Of course, beauty of sun side Arc L1 is you look at the sun and you'll find your way out. And, we're just going to kind of punch it when we get to the top here. We're spooling up, and off we go. Bellio says, thanks, Dane. Good to know. Yep, they do despawn, Bellio's for sure. KSS, yep, they despawn. It can be based on distance. If you have two groups of clusters close to each other. That's absolutely true, KSS. One of the things that I know that we had, the rocks were like 1,200 away from each other. There was a set of doublers and then another set of doublers, I think, or maybe a single. And we had them all, and we decided to break them all. And but we broke the single first, went and did the doubles, came back. We were literally 1,000 or 1,100 away, and it was like there was never a rock even there. It was crazy. It was like, oh, wow, we just broke this thing down, didn't scoop it, flew over to the doublers and came back, and yeah, it was literally like it had never even been there. Like, oh, man. So they despawn. It's a thing for sure. So yeah, we've drifted a bit in conversation today. This has been great. Obviously, most of the time we do a lot of theory crafting on mining stuff and talking Star Citizen stuff. But we got a little talk about family and stuff. That's awesome. It's kind of fun to kind of branch out a little bit. We always try and be careful. I do. Some subjects. I don't want to. I don't think it's healthy. I mean, I want us to just kind of stick to mining, and a little bit of stuff outside of it's totally fine. But and I'm not saying I have crazy restraints, but everybody knows there's what's going on in the world and this type of thing, and we just I want this to be like a happy distraction for people to just come in mine, come ask mining questions, and talk Star Citizen things, and everybody. I appreciate that everybody does that. We've had really good luck with that. Really have been absolutely blessed with a really, really fantastic community here. So, count our blessings, that's for sure. So yeah, we haven't heard first alarm yet. We've hauled in now our second batch of I think we did a 31, and now this is a 28, 29 something, very quickly. And so I'm going to take a look. We're going to put this in the refiner. I think if you guys are up for it, I'll either do Walla or the Aaron Halo. So because we've had good success 2 times in a row, And so if anybody who were to start the stream later as a podcast, they'd be like, oh, they mined well. I'm just going to warn you, Aaron Halo or Wall is not as consistent as Lyria, and it definitely can take a little bit longer to locate things. So there's going to a little more of that conversation maybe warranted, here. But the stream is going really well. We've been, I usually have a 2. Like I kind of have like this pattern that I like to do, right? A 2 mine minimum. And regardless how long that takes, but we're well under the amount of time that I was planning on spending today doing the stream, so I feel blessed that we can go out for a 3rd run. That being said, I thought we would just do something a little off the beaten path because, proof was in the pudding. 2 Lyria runs, close to 60 SCU in the hopper if we get this one down successfully, and that's okay, that's a good $500,000 or so in the bank, just in a couple of quick runs. So, mining speaks for itself. Now, there's first alarm. Lots of time you hear first alarm when you're just setting her down on the pad. That's pretty common, especially when you had to pick over 2 different rocks. And so, I did my post flight there, repairs and kind of getting things loaded up, and off we go. Open the door, and out we go. Somebody taught me that little trick where you could just gun it out the door and you don't have to do the ladder animation. So somebody in the stream actually mentioned that, like you could just gun it out the door, and I did it. And pardon me, I don't do it often, you know what I mean? But it does make me giggle when you time it just right and you make it. Barry, how you doing today, Barry? Nice to see you. Barry says it's the adventure. Yes, it's the adventure. Come along with me as we maybe go over. One of the things I like about Walla are there these like green, almost looking emerald like looking things that are kind of inside the nodes. So it's kind of like almost like a geological type thing. Now they're not in the Quantanium nodes, but they're kind of like, they look kind of bland in the Quantanium nodes. But the non-Quantanium nodes they have a weird name too. Like I forget what it is, but they're interesting nodes on Walla. Of course, the Iron Halo though is a place where people, it's a good thing to learn how to mine in the Iron Halo, how to get to the Iron Halo and mine in the Iron Halo, because if there's pressure on the server, if you really want some anonymity, you can be anonymous out there. It's needle in a haystack. You can just get yourself in a spot where no one's going to find you. It would be very difficult to find you. Oh, Mr. Zai saying, that's how he gets out of most of his ships, just the running leap. That's awesome. That's a good thing to know. I just, I don't know. I was a ladder animation guy for a long time, but the leap out is kind of funny. It doesn't seem to hurt you when you're on the pad in space at all. You don't break a leg or anything doing it, so. All right, so down we go. As you guys know, veterans of the stream, when I'm doing this running or in the elevator stuff, remember QuantCalc and Spectre Fleet links are down in the description, so you can check those things out. If you have any questions about them, we're happy to answer them. Chris Bates, change of pace might yield good luck. I like where your head's at, Chris. And I was thinking, we did 2 Lyria runs today. I was going to 1-1 it like a Lyria and an Iron Halo, but we hit so fast on Lyria, I thought I'd go back on Lyria and just see how it went, and we hit again. So, we've already made good money today on the stream and kind of demonstrated kind of the power of, it's a 27 SCU, nothing to sneeze at. Very good run there. Into the hopper it goes. And so we've put 29 and 26, so over 50 SCU into the hopper already today. So I think we will probably just head out to the Iron Halo and fly around there a little bit and see what we can find. So let me do this. I'm just going to do I'll try and be efficient. Let me go ahead and I'll do my pre-flight in the elevator. So we'll head up out of the refinery and jump in the elevator, do our pre-flight on the way up, and head back out. Off we go.
Hello.
Well, hello there. How are you, sir?
Good. Trying to get your attention already.
Well, I'm streaming right now.
Yep, I know.
Welcome
Um,
aboard. How are you?
Good. I was trying to get your attention because I noticed that 16 and 74 down there, I went down there, talked to them. They tried to get up here. Do you want them up here?
They're certainly welcome to be up here, and I sent them invites. And then when I sent them invites, 74 mentioned that like by accepting the invite to this channel, it stripped them of other Discord rights unexpectedly. So
Shouldn't do that.
I know. Well, I said it was an edge case. Tip of the spear first to find the blood. Because you know me, I'll find an analogy that will work. So the first time that we ever sent one of those links out to somebody so they could join the stream, it just stripped them of their Discord rights. So I was like, I'll get it fixed after. But I'm happy that you're here to get that cleared up.
Yeah, I don't think
That's awesome.
that it stripped them of anything. I think that when they clicked on the link, it just brought them up there because they don't have any roles to talk in there.
Oh, okay.
So basically when you move to a channel that you don't have roles for,
Okay.
sometimes the rest of the Discord disappears. So temporarily, but I checked their roles and they have all of them unless you issued them new roles.
I haven't changed anything. I just had already started streaming, so.
So I'll just do. They have to use push to talk.
Yep.
And
I think at the end of the day, 74 said he just as soon follow along on the stream. So they may not want to come up here, and they don't, and that is totally,
I think the stream's behind though a little bit.
It is behind a little bit, and I've explained that, and that's no big deal. It's all good, 74 is actually
just for communication purposes, because if they're with you during the stream, if you're are you guys on the same crew or what?
We are, and here's the thing, right? When he's on the stream with me, he loves being wants the action right at the moment so he can comment right at the moment. And Archer seems like he's totally fine. 74 seems like he's fine with it being a touch behind and just me saying something on the stream, and he's been right there with me. It's maybe a 10 or 15 second delay, so he seems comfortable with that. So I'm good either way.
Okay. Stand by.
How are you today?
Oh, okay.
Hey, everybody. Just so you know, this is the voice. The voice here is the guy who... This is the QuantCalc guy. This is the guy who did QuantCalc. I mean, I had play a little role. I QA'd a little bit and help kind of envisioned it a little bit. But the guy who's on the channel here is the guy who wrote it. Deserves all the accolades. So if you have any accolades for any of you QuantCalc users out there, now would be the time to give those, so I can repeat what you're saying, so he can hear because I have the luxury of hearing everybody say how good it is, and I do think that 2 deserves a little bit of the credit for that, if not all of it. If not all of it.
Well. So I was doing code last night, and I got lost in code like usual.
Fair enough.
I had those that delete the delete button that I made for the member ones. Well, so I made it so now there's a new balance sheet where it goes into a new database, so that database never gets touched by the delete button.
Okay.
So that'll always be there. But I am going to go back and work on some code for QuantCalc. I know that there's some issues with it. Like if you try to delete the last rock in your list, it won't delete it.
Somebody else mentioned the delete thing, I must have missed that use case. But what you're saying is, go ahead and explain it. If you delete the last rock, what?
It just doesn't delete it, or it doesn't appear to delete it, but it actually does. It's because I'm not using the async function for repeaters.
Right.
I'm just using add a new rock in a different box, which refreshes. When you click edit, it refreshes the database, which is connected to a repeater. That repeater notices, okay, there's a new thing added, and then it updates. It's always one behind because it's not. The reason I did it that way is because the code is simpler and it's cleaner. So it should have worked better, but it ended up working not better. Well, because for instance, when you add a new rock with an async repeater, you click add new rock. Sometimes that rock is like the third one down, or the fourth one down, or the second or the first. With this, it always has the new rock on the top, and that's the way I wanted it, because otherwise you're searching through all this stuff to try to find where you have to add this new rock in.
Right.
So that's the issue with it, the async repeaters. They are better at updating and keeping up to date, but I thought it would look cleaner the other way around. But I can get it so that the last rock, works. It deletes it. I just have to do some update code. So each time a delete button's pressed, it just needs to update the code. It sounds simple enough, and it kind of is, but once I've updated the code, I got to test it a little bit, and then once I've tested it, then I have to post the update into the App Store.
Yep.
And then the App Store has to wait to approve it.
Yep.
And we do have the code now for Apple.
For iOS, that's awesome.
Yep. I just got to figure out how to align all that. All the sales go to the org to fund things like the website, the app itself.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So,
yeah, it costs a few bucks for us to have the app and for us to, yep.
So appreciate anybody that's bought it so far. And if you have suggestions, I'm going to add some new stuff. I was thinking about adding the Let's Chat thing to the app itself. So if you have any questions, if anybody's on like myself, Spectre 72, Spectre 4, if you have any questions about the app, you can ask it in real time. Your questions.
That would be fun. Yeah, that's cool. So
I'm working on that as well. So also 72.
Yes.
If you could post your link in a channel like announcements or something, so that more people can watch it. Because I noticed that you were streaming, but I can't find your stream. I suppose I could just go to YouTube. But
I need to. I didn't. I should have added it to my because I have this pre-flight list of things I do as I get ready for the stream, and I thought I had added it to there, but I obviously, if I didn't go through and do the announcement, I must have forgot. So you bet I will start doing that. And so
I'll post it for you.
Thank you.
Yep. But I will. Oh crap.
By the way, Bellio says he says the app is handy. Just you did get some kudos there.
Thank you. Yep, I'm on your stream now. Thanks, Belios. Yeah, if you have any suggestions, somebody made a suggestion about a clock or a countdown.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like you click start, and then you'd start your extraction right after that. So you'd have kind of a timer, that you could maybe keep an eye on. Probably would be helpful if you're maybe as you pull in your mining laser, you lose. Oh, Joey Goodwin says he enjoys the app so far as well. And so, yeah, something that, as you begin the extraction process, you'd have a little timer. And when you're on your way back, when you have the laser in, when you're in quantum, you can't see the timer. So something that's at least a little, close to the time would, that was a suggestion. I thought a good one.
It's like he was typing.
Nice. It's a lot of singles so far. We came out to the Iron Halo and just real quick. Dropped out at 7.7 between ArcL1 and HURL5. We dropped out at 7.7. We just kind of reset our quantum location back to ArcL1 and just keep that in our 12 o'clock position so we don't end up kind of doing circles in the Iron Halo. You got to have a little bit of perspective. So yeah, sorry to speak over that, but I just want to kind of keep everybody on board with what's happening.
We will be adding that countdown timer too. So
cool. A countdown timer made it in. That's the one thing, you guys, like. That's the thing. This is kind of an early release, and you really can, if there's a tool in QuantCalc that you want, you really can make a difference right now by suggesting it. And also telling us about any bugs you have. I mean, you paid your $1. you let us know if there's something we can do to improve it. I should say if there's something can do to improve it. he wants to help. Here's our first cluster. This is a 3-pack. Never find 3-packs are never Quantanium in this part of the Halo. But we'll do a scan on these guys and see what we get.
Doing some Halo action, eh?
Yeah, well, I had 2 super fast. This is a 49-31 mass. We went out to Lyria twice and struck Pater to a 30.99 and a 27. So already got 2 in the hopper, and I was just like, look at that. It's gold, diamond, and corundum. And so, off we go. But yeah, just so fast. I mean, it was... I thought, well, I normally don't do 3 runs, but it's just like we had those 2 in the hopper so quick. I'm like, let's just head out to the Halo. And I warned everybody that this could be the part that we need good conversation, and then you showed up. So that worked out great. Oh, here's our first cluster.
I don't know. Does everybody know about that the document? I should probably send them that. The Aaron, I'll send that in your chat. Your Aaron Halo document that tells you where to jump in.
Do that. That would be great. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Those are the types of things that people do ask or whatever. And I look at that kind of pass this group up. But let's go ahead and give it a slow. There's a 4931. And this is going to be a Quantanium cluster, you guys. So, man, we're having a good day today. Now, that doesn't mean there's going to be anything to mine in this thing. Oh, that's why I'm flying past these things. I've got I got cruise control on as we were chatting. So, no big deal. A couple of things there to learn, though, you guys. Look, one of the things I will say is notice I never pointed directly at a rock and raced towards it. Okay, in the Iron Halo, don't do that. If the minute that you put your cursor dead on that rock, you're gonna have a moment where you're just kind of not paying attention and you're gonna fly into it. So I always keep rocks left or right of center. When you're flying around, and notice I indiscriminately passed those twice, but we didn't hit them and get ourselves into a jam. That's the only reason I know that is because I have hit them. I've hit them so many times. It's one of those things you just kind of learn as you go. So that's a good tip or whatever. But yeah, right off the bat here we got a 5122. That's a 15%er, not quite good enough. We're gonna start scanning these guys. So 4831 at 2. Yeah, we've just done really well. There's another blue cap, another 2%er.
You're back.
All right, no problem. Phenom, how you doing, Phenom? I bought QuantCalc, and my question is the load time. Depends on my computer. Sometimes it takes a while to load, and sometimes it's instantaneous. That's an interesting piece of feedback. Well, wait, 2 said he'd be right back, Phenom, and we'll ask him that question and see if he's got a thought on that. Probably not. I would guess it probably has to do with the way that the network and the servers, and maybe because it is a mobile app, it might have to do just with, just how quick packets are coming back. This could be a good rock. That's a 49 at 20. And that's a 49 at 20. And then, what's this guy? So it looks like I'm going to have to break 2 rocks in order to... This is a 51 at 20. So I got 3 20%ers. And so, yeah, Phenom, thank you for commenting on that. I'll mention it to 2 when he says he's back. Hearing from you guys is a good thing. So there are 3 20%ers here, if I'm not mistaken. It is remembering the scan. So I got a 20, a 22, and a 20. And so I'm going to use QuantCalc to kind of calc these out. And a 15. And so I'm just going to, we'll kind of use QuantCalc. I only do the Halo from CRUL1. That's a good, Belios, I can appreciate why you would only do the Halo from CRUL1, because that 3% bonus is nice. I hang out in the Lyria area so much. It's just one of those things I just kind of, I just kind of launch from here. So this is a 4931. I'm going to put that 4931. Quantanium is at 22.5. And so this is going to be around 20 SCU, but we'll calculate that rock. Okay. Then this is a 4931 at 20.32. Isn't that funny? A couple of 4931s exactly at 20.3. And we'll add that rock. And then this guy here is a 5122 at 20%. 5122 at 20%. Archer, what are you doing? You feel like breaking rocks? And then this is a 5122 at 15%. So this is a 5122 at 15.3. Not comma 3, 15.3.
So
and add rock.
The load time YAR is due for the QuantCalc. So the website is a huge. Our org website is actually. So it's integrated into our. The app is integrated into our web. How do I explain this? So we use a third-party program that basically copies a website page and then turns it into an app. So the load time that you're seeing is due to the fact that our website is huge. We have, I think, 70 pages that are static, like static pages, and then we have over like 10,000 dynamic pages. So our website is huge. The load time itself is from the code, so that's kind of what you're seeing there. I had to disable the input fields of the app because when it loads, people were inputting data before the code had loaded, and that was making their numbers and everything else a little bit off. So I was like, okay, well, if I just put everything on hold, let it load, then enable the input fields, that allows time for the website to catch up a little bit. But yes, we have that problem as an org itself. The website is slow. There's not much I can do that. We're hosted by Wix, so it's just a matter of I actually don't know how to make that any quicker. The old code that we used to have, I think, was a lot quicker, but it wasn't as dynamic. You weren't able to add unlimited rocks, for instance. So, hope that answered that question.
I think you did a great job answering that question. I mean, I think the distilled version is the website is a little sluggish, and so the app, kind of the backbone of the app is attached to that, so the app can be a little sluggish. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I still think it's acceptable. I mean, I use the app quite a bit, but I have noticed that it can be a touch streaky too, where it takes a moment before it will allow you to start entering rocks. But I think one thing I have noticed is once it's kind of fired up, it does seem to be pretty good. That first initial load can take a little bit longer than you hope it's just bingo bango, but it's not a real long time. It's just a short wait, and it's certainly been acceptable. But yeah, I think that answers that question for sure. So, Balio says he loves Lyria, needs a visual break. I'm sorry about that too. And then Redemption says that's weird. He found you find 4139 or 4931 is a very common rock value that you find. They do recycle numbers. Redemption. That's a good point and well taken. So, what were you going to say, sir?
Oh, so I'm trying to figure out how to get that that refinery to air Halo mining routes PDF onto your chat. I'm just trying to figure out.
Oh, yeah, that would be maybe making a link to a public Google Doc. Maybe making a different Google Doc space.
Sure.
That might be a way to do it. See, occasionally I help with nerdy things.
Well, let's look here.
Just teasing.
I'll put it in the drive. I'll just share it from the drive by itself.
So I've got 76 SCU in this cluster over 4 rocks. 2 rocks have 40 SCU, so I'm going to break the 2. There's a couple here that are both the 4931s are around 20-some%, and I'm going to break both of those, I think. And it's going to give me the best chance at a uni. And then haven't seen if Archer heard the call. Maybe he jumped off the stream. He very well could. He would be welcome as well if he wanted to come over here and make some money. But no big deal. That's going to be nothing. Okay. This is going to be a 36%er there. Oh, this will be a good rock. Yeah. Oh, 25. Yeah, maybe not as clean as we'd hoped. That's nothing. All right. 40% there. And nothing there. So we'll begin breaking these guys. See, I didn't break as clean as I'd hoped, but that's okay. And earlier somebody was talking about despawns of rocks. We'll probably be playing with a little bit of that here. Darkside666 says this is where a mole would come in handy. I agree with that 100%. I don't like this. Darkside, I don't like the solo mole as much as some people do. And I don't begrudge anybody who's got more, more ambition than I do. By any stretch of the imagination. But I myself, and you're absolutely right, in the Iron Halo, when you find this cluster and you have the mole, this is a good mole cluster. This would be a very good mole cluster because you could haul away with it quite a bit more. And you have the wiggle room to pull on some trash as well, right? So you're absolutely right. Most LKD, is it already released? That's a great question. Yes, it is already released, and thank you. That's a name I don't recognize on the stream before. Welcome aboard. How you doing, Moss? Good question. Yep, it's the link is in the description. It is on the Google Play Store now. It's not quite in prime time for iOS yet, but the person who developed the app is on the stream today, and you can ask him any questions if you happen to. It's just $1. It's not a huge investment, but we'd love for you to, if you pick it up, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think.
Feedback's important. We already got some feedback. We'll be adding countdown calculator.
Yep.
This is somebody's feedback. Some people have mentioned it's slow. I understand that. We'll try to work on that in the future. There's some other bugs too that I know of. I want to put a live chat in it as well. Just be a little tiny button at the bottom. If you have any questions, you just click it, and hopefully somebody can give some answers. Frequently asked questions area, because if there's anything that can be answered there.
Could we chat through our Discord on that? Like if somebody asks a question, we could highlight in the Discord, or is it?
I can set it up like that.
I mean that because I keep an eye on Discord. That'd be kind of fun if you could because we have a good mining group, a good core group of guys. So if people do ask questions through the app, I think that we, any one of our mining guys can answer those questions in most cases, or we can just give privileges to the people that we want answering questions, is type of thing.
Yeah, and right now it would be like if I just did the regular chat or a website, because that's where the app actually is. I could actually, it would be the questions would be forwarded to me, to you, to 4 to 1. We'd be able to answer those, but I can look into doing some kind of live chat.
I like that. As far as for an MVP, a minimum viable product, let's just leave it there at first. I think that's probably the right move, and then we'll just kind of see what kind of questions come in, because there might be some spam or some other things that you never do know. So we'll have to kind of just let's monitor it for a month or two before we decide where we want to go.
And I can always do like a button that connects directly to the Discord into the QuantCalc channel. A lot of apps have their own, dedicated Discord, but as we're an entire org, we could just, have like a channel dedicated to taking questions and stuff from it and answering it, and we could have whoever we want in there. I think that would be a lot more viable and easier in the future.
I like it.
I'm going to put that, I think I got this right. If somebody wants to check it, I put a link to no, I do not own this document. We found it at one time. So I'm just sharing it with you via the means that I can, which is our Google Drive. So if somebody could double check that, but that should be the refinery to Iron Halo mining routes. It'll tell you when and where to drop out of Quantum, depending on where you're at in the verse, going to another area. Considering he is doing Iron Halo mining at this time, it's kind of relevant. So.
Darkside said he'd pay any amount if we could, tell him where the 40%ers are.
Yeah, I would pay too.
Chris Bates, excellent point. Just like Star Citizen, it's a work in progress. It'll only get better with time. And the cool thing is it's it's just it's $1 entry fee, and you get you get all the whatever. However, it gets better in the future, you're entitled to it. So I don't think we'll ever put a pay gate on it beyond that $1. But famous last words, right? Remember that one time in the stream you said?
Well, and
I'm going to Chris Roberts myself real quick.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as being one of the first people to buy it, you get a lot of input because there's less voices. There's no static. Because when you get 1,000 or 10,000 people, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to get your specific idea in. So.
I agree with that. I mean, and we have had people have come and made suggestions, and as you heard, like one of them is being implemented, and we're looking for people to bang on the app, and if you can figure out, if you have an idea to like, it would be really handy if it did this, and it's not a bridge too far, and it's something that we can absolutely implement. I know that we're always looking to do that, improving that thing and making it the best possible. Mining tool in Star Citizen is what our goal is. But I also like the fact that it's lightweight. You want to keep it lightweight and really kind of do the simple calculations quickly. And as other gameplay mechanics come along, I mean, we'll have to see, what other adventures we can get ourselves into.
Thank you, Darkside. Appreciate it. Said you purchased the calculator.
Oh, thank you, Darkside. That's awesome. Thank you, sir. Darkside's been a regular on the stream quite a bit. I appreciate it. Oh, Belios. You know what, Belios? I should shout. I thought to myself, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if it was Belios, but I didn't want to say it because I wasn't 100%. But no, I appreciate that, Belios. It's cool. It's hey, that break kind of got funny. A little fishy there. I wasn't over it. I mean, it didn't break terrible or anything. It just was she was a little bit grumpy. But yeah, that's awesome, Belios. Definitely it was a good suggestion, and as you can see, we took it to heart for sure.
Have to figure out where to put that button at.
That's a good point.
So many damn buttons on that thing. Well, it's not too bad right now, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna put it. You just click it, basically, what'll happen, and we'll just start a timer. It'll just have a countdown right next to it.
Chris Bates is talking about a salvage calc. You know what, Chris? It's going to be interesting. Obviously, there's going to be some math in those mechanics. We'll have to look and see how all that stuff works. And then, salvage, that's coming along at first is going to be hull stripping. So we're not sure how salvagey that part's going to be. And of course, then there's going to be this other thing, right? Because there's going to be component salvage as well. So, those are mechanics that we're just not 100% sure how they'd flesh out. But I'm sure if there was some way if there was some quick calculations that needed to be done and that type of thing, it'd be something we'd be strongly considering. Or at least I'd be twisting Two's arm to maybe think about it. And trust me when I say the industry group of Spectre Fleet is crazy excited to do anything related to salvage. I mean, the space chop shop where we're stripping hulls and pulling in components and repairing those components on the Crucible, and over-tuning or overclocking those components on the Endeavor and selling those components on the Banu Merchantman. That gameplay loop is, I'll tell you. And then if they ever added any kind of an experimentation stuff, or somehow you just managed to make this one XL1 drive super efficient, or that type of stuff, if they ever did kind of like a Star Wars Galaxies type thing, and I'm not expecting that, but if they ever did that kind of stuff, man, would that be super fun and make salvage a really incredible opportunity. Belly, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
Oh, I was going to say, Darkside says we'll continue to support this app, and I was going to say thank you for that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Also, I want to mention too, in the future, what I have planned for QuantCalc is that we will be able to add other rocks. So right now, as
Good
an
point.
org, we have our website. On that website is something called a settings page. In that settings page for mining, we've added other materials that we can mine and such like that, uh, which is a dynamic type of drop down selection list. That will also be available in QuantCalc as well. So we won't be just doing Quantanium. It'll be whatever you mine, you just select. So when you add a new rock, you'll select instead of just, you'll have two fields, you'll have three fields. One will be what you're mining, what the percentages of what you're mining is, and the mass of the rock, and then it'll calculate that. So it's not going to be just Quantanium forever. It will also be other things as well in the future coming up. Um, Unfortunately, because some people mine random things, it'll have to be three drop down or three fields to fill in instead of just the two that we have now. Um, but yeah, I will definitely we'll be adding other rocks to it. So, um, and as far as salvage calc, I could definitely make something like that too. It would just be a matter of figuring out the numbers, which would be great. And I don't know, we'll talk to 72 about it. Maybe keep it on the same app even.
Love the idea.
We just have one for mining. It'll just be two buttons at first. You'll see a button for mining and then salvaging. You click, salvage, and then it'll take you to the salvage screen area. And the keep screen awake, Helios, is a good idea. Unfortunately, this is the first app I've ever published, ever. So I'm not sure how to do that. If I find a way to do that, I could definitely put it in there. Yeah.
Oh, so Darkside's asking about mining gadgets. Also, 3.17, Belios, really quickly, so you know, they're adding these new things called mining gadgets. So right now you have mining consumables, which are the 5 charge. You have mining modules, which are the passive modules. So the first one's like an active module where you click. I use those all the time. But if you notice in my kit right now, I have an FLTRXL. That's a mining module. Then I have Brants. Those are mining consumables. So you have these passives. I have one of them that's a passive and 2 of them that are active. I have to fire them off. The mining consumable, the mining gadgets are coming out with 3.17. They're actually in Evocati now. Those are going to have where for first break, you can actually Evo or get out, land your ship and get out and attach them to the rock. And they're going to, for instance, allow you, like for right now, for instance, if you're using the Lancet mining head, your cap is about a 5,800 mass, and anything above 5,500, you want to crawl under your desk. It takes like a half hour to get the energy in there. Like you just want to go fetal. It just takes forever. So you're going to actually be able to Evo or land your ship and go out, attach the mining gadget to the actual rock on first break, and then tune it to the rock. And then it's going to do something like lower the instability or make your mining laser's power count more. It's gonna be basically like doubling down on the way the consumables or passives work. But hopefully there's some more meta in there with the way like you mix up between the mining laser heads and between the consumables and between the modules and the gadgets. For at least on first break, you're going to have maybe some meta changing stuff. I'm just hoping that it gives me a little bit more wiggle room with my current configuration to maybe get up to like 5,800, like that type of thing where I can do these rocks that are a little above my pay grade right now with the Lancet. But I hope that's a good, a good basic description of what's happening there. Belios is saying, "Oh, cool. Yeah, they're in Evocati now. They actually they're one of the things that did not leave the the roadmap. So cool. All right. Well, man, all 3 of these rocks have broke up crummy. Well, it's a good thing I'm breaking up 3 rocks here because hopefully there'll be enough hundos in here to do something with. I normally don't break up 3 rocks. I thought this would be fun. And obviously we're having some great conversation with 2 on board today, so easy peasy. ahead and just abuse a Brant here. So yeah, we're breaking up rocks here. We've had 2 excellent runs on Lyria. We're out in the Halo. We're just digging it out a little bit. And on the stream today, we've been super lucky to have 2 join, who's the developer of QuantCalc, and we're getting some back and forth feedback between the community, and that is really, really, really cool. Salvage has been talked about. Man, I can't wait. 4 would love to talk about salvage too. That's his jam. We've talked about that a little bit. He's interested in that for sure. Sounds like it will open up options, opportunity to change up the modules of gadgets. Yeah, I hope that the gadgets do a little bit heavier lifting, or they augment things a little bit deeper. I think the passes could use a little bit of they could look those over a little bit and maybe tune them a little hotter than they currently work. That would be my suggestion. I mean, I'm not, I'm sure they have an end game type of thing that they must have some thoughts in mind how they want it to work. So it will be interesting to see. I mean, mining is one of the most fleshed out loops in Star Citizen, and they're just kind of adding another layer there, and I'm excited to dig into those mechanics, and we'll be doing quite a bit of that stuff, as you can imagine, on the stream, and then on the channel as well, where we take a look at the individual gadgets and how, like I was really thinking about this. If you take your mining laser head, and then you take your consumables, and you take your your passives and your consumables, and then the gadgets, and then the modules, and you kind of put them, like, lay them out and just do some just kind of different types of meta that you can do with them. All right, so we're going to lean on some more Brants here. We definitely have broke up 2 other rocks. We're breaking up the 3rd one. None of these have broke clean. All 3 rocks. I mean, none of them had massive amounts in them. They were all around 20%ers. But we definitely have got ourselves into a working man's cluster, and we're going to try to pull away here with as much Quantanium as possible at the end of this. Belios has got to drop out. Take care, Belios. Good on you for hanging out with us today, and thanks for that. Thanks again for suggesting that the timer for the app. That was an awesome suggestion, and one that's getting implemented. No problem. So yeah, you guys, we got lucky here. As for those of you who have been on the stream quite a bit, we don't always have. Obviously that's kind of 2's first appearance. He is the developer of the app that we use every day when we go mining, and so great to have him on board answering all the questions that he could possibly answer for us. Yeah, that was it was nice to have him stop by. And all right, there's only 1.25% in this. All right, so here we go. We're going to start looking for any hundos we can over 3 rocks. So this is going to be an interesting. We're off to the races. 100% inert. So I broke up 3 different rocks, and they are, we're looking for anything that's 100%, to begin with here. It really seemed like all 3 of the rocks were around 20%, and they all broke up kind of crummy. And so we're just going to try and cherry pick the hundos out of here first. And we're going to be definitely tighter. There's a 72%er. So there's one over, this is definitely going to be, there's my first hundo. So like I said, this is going to be tighter than normal when it comes to flying this in. We have a lot of rocks to scan, and the scanner may not always be gracious, and we're going to do our best here. That was a good start. That was 4.57, and so we're going to scan all these rocks. So this one broke up a little cleaner, you can tell, because that was one was 100 and one was nothing there. There's our second hundo, so we're pulling that guy in. We're trying to make the best out of a 3 rock break here in the Air and Halo. And we'll see how we're going to do. And this will be a fun exercise to see how we do on time. So we're already at 10 SCU. We're, like I said, cherry picking the hundos out of the, cherry picking the hundos out first. Awesome. Okay, got a couple more to scan here. We're pulling back a little bit, trying to get a little perspective. That's a 70, so we'll have to remember that 70's in there if we don't find anything better than that. But obviously, if we're able to pull out a 39. So, okay, so we're going to... Now, we definitely want to get some perspective here. I knew this was the highest rock, so we're going to come around here. We're actually going to turn this guy around. We're always putting the sun to our back, right? That's an important side here. So we're... then we're going to come in here and take a look at these rocks. And we're looking for hundos in this pile now. That was, I missed the number, but it was going to... the 62% of it was not, and there was another one in there as well. So we're just trying to find the hundos. We're still at 1330. We have plenty of time. That is a nothing rock. There is another one right behind it, though. I'm just going to kind of scooch to the side. We're looking for anything that's 100 or better. Did any of these rocks break clean at all? There's a hundo right there. So that's exactly why we're being discerning with the laser. Trying to get as much on board as we can that's just pure Quantanium. That's a 53. There's a hundo right there. There's a good grab. Awesome. So interesting Saturday stream, you guys. We got to talk a little more business than we normally do, which is great. We don't do it often. I appreciate you guys hanging in for that and being part of really what ended up being kind of a developer chat. That was just fantastic. Super cool. All right, so we're crossing 20 SCU. 21. This was a big rock. Yep, 22 point. So we're definitely starting to get in range here. We just gotta keep scanning and looking for the hundos. We're still at 1250. Look, I've already picked I picked the hundos out of the first pile. I'm picking the hundos out of the second pile. That's a 56. And we're still in pretty good shape here. I mean, the other rock is a little more spread out. That's 100% inert. I think this guy down here, I don't know that I've scanned him yet. I may have because it's not rescanning. So... all right. And there's a couple more to scan over this way. And then we're going to go look at the other one. We're at 22 SCU. We broke up 3 rocks here. There's another hundo. This is exactly what we're doing. This is a really good, obviously, we want to try and hit that. We definitely want to try and hit the uni out of this, right? That would be a great end of the stream, type of thing. But we are just kind of working our tail off here to over 3 different rocks to see if we have clean enough breaks to... Yep, we're going to move on now to the third. Now, this one broke up a little funny. I must have put a little bit... It didn't have overcharge in it when it broke, but it did have overcharge in it for a second, and it seemed to kind of retain some of that. So we're going to try and pick out the last hundos that we can. Hopefully there are some here. But we still have an excellent load, and there's still 12 minutes and 20 seconds. We're still making very good time. But we are hoping to just get a couple of hundos out of here, and really, I think it's really 3. There's one right there. Let's go ahead and grab that guy. Good size rock, 29. So we get one more hundo, maybe potentially 2, and we have kind of pulled off the uni. But there's still quite a few rocks that we got to scan. I don't think this guy was good. I think I did scan this guy already. That's a 7%er. We're real close. We got a few more rocks to kind of see if we get lucky with. There's a 308. That is a 47%er. That's a big chunk. That's not perfect. There's 100% inert. Got a couple more left here. Are we going to do it today? No. What about this guy? That's 100% inert. No. It doesn't look like we're gonna just miss the uni. I'm gonna double check. There's one more over there. Oh no, those colors aren't the colors I'm looking for. And it looks like I think there was a We're not going to quite make the uni, but you know what? We did really well. So I know there was a 70% in that, over in that other pile. There's a 7%. So let me get a little perspective here. Yeah, over here there was a 70%. Let's go look. Let's go look for that guy. I think it was this one. Can he remember 2 piles ago with a 70%er? Yes? No? No. The answer's no. Thought it was that guy. No. We're still got 10 minutes and 30 seconds. We're just fine. There's that 70%er. So that's what we're gonna. That's what we're gonna use. That this guy will probably fill us up, maybe. If not, it's gonna be darn close. It did 31.13 SCU over 3 rocks. We're not gonna complain about that. That was an excellent run. Not quite a uni. Well, we've already got ourselves our quantum marker set for. We are gonna head back to ArcL1 and call that an excellent pull out in the air and halo as well. It was a 3. We had to break 3 rocks in order to do that. And so, that's sometimes what you have to do. So we started out on Lyria. We did a 30.99. Then we went back. I think we ended up with around 27, and we just did another 30 in the air and halo. So really, really, really good mining day today. Great questions, great conversation. And really appreciated everybody's time. We are going to take this guy back to the hopper, and we're gonna sign off and call it good. It was a wonderful day to do some streaming. Of course, I kind of jokingly refer to myself as kind of the Bob Ross of mining. I mean, I cannot tell you how much joy I get out of just kind of being able to go out and break some rocks up and make some money and pull it in. And I probably more joy than a human should be allowed to take out of something like this. Coffee has been fantastic, but the company has been way better. We really got blessed today. Some people who are regulars on the stream, a few new faces. We had an excellent conversation with 2, about the QuantCalc app. And this was just a solid run. Now we still have a little work to do, right? We got to get this guy down on the pad safely, and we got to get it into the refinery. And so we're not quite done, but we've definitely got a little work to do here to kind of finish it out. And we had plenty of time. I haven't even heard first alarm yet, and we're just about to come out of first quantum. We're going to jump right into second quantum after this, and kind of bring it up slowly. Make a call for the pad. Oh, hey, one thing I should mention to you guys. There is the best feature of 3.17 is I just had read about this morning. It's a 1-button click to call the pad. Apparently, that's talk about a quality of life. I spend so much time clicking F11 and hitting calling for the pad and canceling stuff, and I am really looking forward to the 1-button click call for pad. I will be mapping that immediately to the stick. Apparently it doesn't come pre-mapped. You do have to map it, but whatever that is, I will be mapping that front and center on the stick, and we're going to definitely do it. All right, so we're going to hit second quantum here. Over to ArcL1. And we'll flip this guy around and turn off the quantum beacons, and we're going to come in at about 400. Nice even clip. Putting in work today. So we had a single rock break. I think and I really did want to shout out to Archer. I see he's on ArcL1 there. He did come help a couple of times. I appreciate your help today, Archer, for sure. That was a really, really unexpected, a very welcome bit of assistance. Really appreciated it. And we slowly but surely are building a really good mining community. Just a really good group of guys who enjoy it. Now there's first alarm. She just went off. We'll go ahead and old school the call for landing. I'll call it old school for now. Because it's going to be old school at some point. Maybe not hitting it at F11. got the gear down. Normally, like right when I call for, it's kind of like a mental note for right at the moment I call for a landing. I do try and put the gear down. I don't always remember to do that. Lots of times I'm chatting, I put the belly of the prospector down. Chris is saying, great to watch the stream at the hospital. Hope to be home next stream, lunchtime. Thanks for all the well wishes, and we'll try to keep you all informed. Thank you very much, Chris. I know that everybody truly, wishes you the best, safe recovery. Like I said, having spent a little time in the hospital myself, I know how hard it is. Just know that we're thinking about you, sir, and get home safely, and bless you for that. Definitely home is where you're going to do your best healing. That's for sure, and maybe get a little quieter night's sleep as well. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and do our post flight here. We landed. I always just kind of do that little thing, and then just routine. One of the things is, when you find the routine that works for you in Star Citizen, sometimes straying outside of that routine, you'll give it's what we refer to as kind of death by 1,000 cuts. Star Citizen's got its own little idiosyncrasies that you kind of you got to kind of get used to. But when you find that routine that works for you, it's not a bad idea to stick to it as much as you can. And in we go. Redemption is saying, tried to hunt you guys down again, but the Halo is massive. Found a 32 SCU, but figured it wasn't enough to call in. Yeah, so that's awesome. Oh, Redemption, are you not, I always forget it. Is that 9? Are you, I can't remember that. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But trying to find somebody it's a very good point. If you want anonymity, trying to find somebody in the Aaron Halo is a difficult thing to do. You are really a needle in a haystack. You're going to get, you're more likely to be bit by a polar bear and struck by lightning the same day than someone coming across you in the Aaron Halo, even if they relatively know where you are. I mean, it is a long, time before you would locate anybody until they change some of the scanning mechanics. Now, that being said, and Two's kind of giggling here, if you're mining on the dark side of a moon on Lyria, they may be able to see you from ArcCorp. I mean, it's crazy how far you can see that. So it was 9. 9 sneaks on and tries to find us, and he always is trying to do that. It's awesome. Vengeance. Hey, name I don't recognize. Welcome to the stream. How you doing, Vengeance? How about the Odyssey as the next ship? I think the Odyssey definitely has its place. I love that there are these choices between the Carrack and the Odyssey. Of course, being a miner, I love the fact that you can mine your own Quantanium. I do wonder how that's going to, if those Quantanium stores for your personal ship are going to also share with the hangar. So, for instance, if you can, let's say you do mine in the Odyssey and you fill up your Quantanium tanks. I wonder if those Quantanium tanks you're also going to be able to fill up ships that land in your hangar. That's one kind of thing that I don't know is 100% known, Vengeance. But I will say, the Odyssey as a ship in general, I'm not as nearly as down on it as some folks after they kind of learn. I think it's a great ship. It looks cool. I love the fact that it's going to have some options for putting ground vehicles on it as well. I do think it's going to have its place in the verse, and I just love variety. I think it's a cool ship. I like MISC ships too. I print money with the Prospector. I really think they've done a great job with the Hull A. That looks like it's a cool looking ship. The splines or the spindles look fantastic. There's Archer. Where you been, kid? Yo! Let's tease Archer a bit. Look at he's looking at his I got in front of him when he was doing his mining jobs. I didn't notice he was doing that. I thought he was just standing there kind of doing nothing.
Well, I told them that I gave him roles to be able to come up and talk to you, but
I
I don't
think,
want to. I
you
don't
know,
know.
well, no,
They're listening to the stream. I know that, but
yeah, no. And I told Archer, like, don't feel like obligated to do that. And I think he felt more comfortable just kind of being a part of the stream, like, and that's totally fine. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to join in on the stream. That's for sure. Squirrel Lord, what have I missed, Squirrel Lord? That is an excellent question, Squirrel.
everything.
Yeah, here's what you missed, Squirrel. Today's been a great day, right? So number one, we went to Lyria twice. We pulled down 31, a 30.99, and then a 28.29. Then we went to the Aaron Halo, and we broke down 3 rocks and came away with a 30 SCU. It was a working man's cluster in the Aaron Halo. 3 rocks that are, 2 were like 49.34s that had 20%, and one 51.22 that had 20%. We broke down all 3 rocks. We very carefully went through and picked and almost hit a uni. We almost got a uni twice today, but we didn't. Obviously you either get a uni or you don't. So we had a couple of over 30 runs, one over 20, Squirrel. And then we also had an excellent developer chat with a guy who developed QuantCalc. So let me give you an opportunity, Squirrel. I don't know if you have QuantCalc. I can't remember if you've mentioned it because I know that you're a regular. But the developer of the app is here chatting with us as well. So if you have anything that you want to chat, we'll give you a minute. But let me just kind of begin the sign-offs, right? This is that kind of the time of the day where I just kind of, do these shameless plugs. It seems like 4 had a better name for it. Like, and I really need to ask him what that was. But anyways, we do have QuantCalc. Link is in the description. It's $1. It's an app that very easily gives you the SCU and the Quantanium rocks. We do have what I consider hands down the best organization in the verse. Spectrefleet.space. The link is in the description. You don't just have to mine. I run a mining stream, but we have medical, logistics, big ship stuff. We have an excellent fighter group. We have an unbelievable marine group. And we have a ton of fun. Last Saturday was tank battles. We got a bunch of Nova tanks and had a big tank battle. We do that kind of stuff on Saturday nights. It's, every week a different part of a different squadron runs a different event, and that was tons of fun. Squirrel Lord says, wow, yesterday I finally set up my prospector. It's ready to get to work. Squirrel, I know that you have your own stream and you normally do after like your combat stuff, so yeah, let me know how that goes. Obviously the prospector is great. Vengeance says, if you have infinite money, what do you like to do in the verse? I tell you, help people, I think would be it is 9. It's the shill segment. I know I get shivers. I don't like doing this part of it, but I feel obligated to because it's one of those things where, you want to spread the community a little bit and let people know that the tools are there. Yeah, it is the shill segment. I like that. I like that name. If you're offering that as a name, it is. I feel it's the Shameless shill segment for sure. Vengeance, what I like to do with my money is just kind of like, in our organization, for instance, we help the Marines buy armor, ammo, guns. We help the fighter groups buy, fleets. I think we've done Gladiators and Hurricanes. We've done Nova tanks. We've done ground support vehicles. The industry group we purchase things to have fun in the game. So with infinite money, I would say it's just purchasing the things that have the most important thing. All of us do this is just for fun, to get away from the regular business of life and just kind of pretend that we're in this unbelievable futuristic universe, enjoy each other's company, and just fucking have a blast. That's what we're up to, really. I mean, trying to have as much fun as possible. So I dropped it. There you go. That was for, like, if you're not listening, Archer, there's an F-bomb right for you, sir. I just want to let you know. I mean, it can happen, so anyways, thank you all. It was a great stream today. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely Saturday, and we will see you all around the verse. Thanks for coming out.